What's going on, Imperials? It's Emperor Cubone here. We are continuing our journey into the what-ifs of Pokémon. In this case, when it comes to the missing type specialists of each region. Today we will be covering the Sinnoh region. If you haven't seen the previous generations, you can watch those for context, but in short, at some time in every region, whether in the past or the future, there's got to be either a gym leader or Elite Four member that emphasizes each of the different types. So it's up to us to figure out who they might be. With all of the Sinnoh region type specialists that we've seen thus far, we're left with needing to cover the types of Flying, Dark, Normal, Poison, Dragon, and of course Fairy. But I guess that's what you get when you have an actually diversified champion. And luckily, like last time, Sinnoh actually has more cities than just the ones with the gyms that we already know, so we can fill up the existing map instead of just adding to it. So to start off, the first town that we come to is Seleccion Town. Now, while not quite as big as some of the others, it does already house Professor Rowan's lab, so it could also contain a moderate early game gym. Or if you wanted, it could be over in the facility that eventually became Pal Park. But either way, it would still be connected to Seleccion Town as a base. To me, it might work better to go and battle the Orberg gym first and then come back. That's what happens anyway, you just have to have some Team Galactic runs funnel you back down so you don't miss it. Or at the very least, return after the rival battle just outside of Jubilife. I just want some opportunity to gain decent experience before being thrust into the gym. But since it is still early on, we can give Seleccion Town the normal type gym. The leader here would be Nancy, and would have some ties to the nearby trainer school. Her team could have Bunnery and the new Happiny to show off the options that you could have for later on. And she could easily have Bibarel since it evolves at level 15, which provides some type diversity and maybe lets you see the evolution of that Pokemon that you probably weren't going to evolve anyway. And if she needed alternates, there's always Munchlax or even Apalm to fill in. The gym itself I don't imagine would be too hard, maybe just some bridges to platforms where the trainers spin around for you to fight. But once you beat Nancy at the end, she'll give you the Foundation Badge and the TM for Swift. The next town on your journey is Flo Aromatown, which is a beautiful part of the region covered in scenic fields of multicolored flowers. Sounds perfect for the grass type, but that's already been taken care of, so I'm thinking maybe Poison type. Now hear me out. I realize that Poison seems at odds with this idyllic natural town, but that could be the point. The gym could have been some sort of factory or something to pump out a lot of pollution, and the people of the town would be against them and want to kick them out. Maybe they did and replaced it with the clean energy of Valley Windworks, or maybe even the nearby Ironworks facility. I see that leader as a sort of scientist type that truly believes in what they're doing, but doesn't quite see the harm if nature has to suffer a little bit for his work. Let's call him Bane. And his team could consist of a Krogunk and a Skorupi to represent the Sinnoh newcomers of that type. And could probably have at least a Tentacool thrown in there as well. Now something else in the Sinnoh region is that many specialists, especially near the end, do have Pokemon with unrelated types on their teams. So I think it's more fitting than ever to include such members in consideration. So for Bane, I'd give him maybe an Umbreon, since it has that poison sweat thing going on as well. Inside the gym, if it is a factory, there could be another one of those conveyor belt puzzles that we've seen elsewhere in the franchise that drop you off in front of the other trainers. After you defeat Bane, he will give you the chemical badge and the TM for Poison Jab. Next we find Seleccion Town, where I spent much time at the daycare. There are also some neat ruins nearby. So for this humble little town, I think the Flying type could be the gym here. A Flying gym could have been at the top of those ruins, or even the Lost Tower that's close by, even though that is more ghostly. Wherever it is, the leader of the gym would be Sora, a young woman who may not have been a gym leader for very long, but she can use her Flying types expertly. She would obviously need a Staravia. It is a staple of the Sinnoh region after all. But I think we could also give her a Mothim, as well as a Chatot for some extra flair on her team. Also, the new baby Pokemon, Mantike, would be another fine addition to the team, adding some extra typing. Inside the gym, I imagine we could see the likes of air current tubes that could launch you up or down to different platforms to find the right way to Sora at the end. But when you do win, she'll give you the Propel badge and the TM for Aerial Ace. And I think she would have probably given out the HM for Defog as well. If we go up, there's also Seleccion Town, which is quaint, but also has deep ties to the mythology of the region. So to me, that makes it perfect to house the Dragon-type gym. And I think it also makes it perfect for this gym to lean into the ancient lore, and just have the gym have some sort of ruins theme. The problem is there aren't really too many dragons available in the Sinnoh region. However, I think I may have a solution. Like last time, Gen 4 also gave us a Battle Frontier, so maybe some of those people dabbled in gyms as well? Namely, Palmer, who not only is an incredibly powerful trainer, but we've also already seen as having a Dragonite. And he's also been shown to have a Rhyperior who could easily be added for basically being a dinosaur. You could also give him a Gabite, since Garchomp is pretty well spoken for, and an Altaria. For a region that only has one new non-legendary dragon line, that's a pretty good showing for a gym. You beat Palmer and he'll give you the Remnant badge, as well as the TM for Dragon Breath, and maybe the HM for Rock Climb as well. Now, for the next city, I propose going all the way back to Jubilife. Jubilife City is a massive one, maybe the biggest in the region, but the main thing is that you keep coming back to the city anyway. It's a hub for at least 4 or 5 other cities. You have to go through there just to get to Canalave City at all, so I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect to return again in the late game for a gym. And really, if there's one city that deserves a gym, it is Jubilife. So to me, the type that would be here would be the Dark type. And I actually think we might have already known this one too, in Cyrus. That's right, I believe the leader of Team Galactic at one point might have been a Dark type gym leader. After all, it's not like he was an evil team leader his whole life, but gaining the notoriety of a prominent type specialist could have helped him on his way to gaining the resources and followers required to strive for his dream of destroying the universe. And actually, maybe a humiliating defeat at the hands of a small child might spur the desire to rid existence of emotions in the first place. Plus, we've seen Cyrus use numerous dark Pokémon already, and his other Pokémon like Crobat and Gyarados also fit thematically. Or maybe he even had the Skuntank that was eventually given to Jupiter. So the team isn't a problem at all. The gym itself could probably be in a tower or skyscraper and have a bunch of warp panels, and likely fight a bunch of future Team Galactic grunts on your way to the top. If you were able to face Cyrus back when he was a little more stable, and beat him, you would be given the Desolate badge and the TM for Dark Pulse, and maybe even the HM for Waterfall, since he's clearly only for experienced trainers. So, lastly is the Fairy type. And while we have run out of actual other cities, I don't think it matters as much, since I think Dalia could have been an Elite Four member. Dalia, once again, we know from the Battle Frontier, and here she was shown to have a powerful Togekiss, which means to me this lovely performer might have been a fairy specialist. In the right timeline, of course. So I think Dalia could have been given Clefable, Mr. Mime, and Azumarill, which are some of the only few fairies that can be found in the Sinnoh region at all. And I'd give her a Chimecho for good measure to round out the team, since it is at least related to a new Pokémon. So I think Dalia could easily be a representative for the fairy type in the Sinnoh Pokémon League, even if they didn't know what it was yet. We could have included other folks from the Battle Frontier, from what we've seen, maybe even up to the level of Champion. But I think the type specialists that we've laid out here are a decent spread for the gym leaders or Elite Four members that are otherwise missing from Sinnoh. What do you think of these hypothetical type experts? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!